San Antonio Sports Star, live from Dallas Cowboys training camp, is brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and sponsored in part by Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, Jim Beam, and AARP on South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And the good news about that is you just never know who might stop by. Super Bowl champions walking around the tennis courts here in Oxnard, California.
That's right. The legendary Nate Newton joining us here on the Blitz. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jay Semenix. Nate, man, how's your Tuesday?
Oh, man, it's great. I mean, guys getting a break in. I mean, once they take a break, then I'm able to take a slight break. You still want to look at, film, look at tape, talk to coaches, do your homework so you'll be a little knowledgeable about what's going on in these rash of injuries, with the DBs and the O-line and kind of hitting them hard here. So they got to, I talked to Will, over the scouting department, and he's just telling me, man, we just got to get in there and check, see who's out there, see where do we have enough players to fill the positions until these guys get back, or if it's someone better out there. That Will McClay was telling me, if it's someone better out there, we'll bring them in. So this thing about this training camp, man, is to get better, whether it's physically on the field or out there in cyberspace to find someone.
Nate, what's interesting, and Jason and I were just talking about this, back when you played, training camp was pretty physical.
Yes, sir.
It's not as much. Do you think that makes a difference with some of these injuries?
The only time I really think it makes a difference is when you don't go full speed, far as when you don't have pads on receivers, DBs, quarterbacks. They have to try to run as fast as they can at all times. Don't run into one another. Don't try to be a big superstar and, wrap somebody's neck up. But you have to, because you don't want to get into the season and go from 0 to 100. And that's when you get the soft tissue tears and all of that. But they get after it. I mean, you can condition yourself. You can get weary, you can get tired, and then the days that you are in practice, you go after it, you bang, you hit, you do what you have to do. So, like Coach Johnson would tell us, and I know people, you don't want to go from here to here to get to the game. You want to go from here to here to get to the game speed. You can get up to game speed. The 49ers have done it for 100 years. They have been one of the pioneers of what we're doing today. And the difference is every team does it. It ain't 10 teams practice like this and, other 22 have on pads. It's like this is the limited amount of practices you get. Use them how you need them as far as pad practice. But what separates most teams is the tempo of how you do these practices. If everything a walkthrough, where you can rest assured that when you come to the season, it's going to be some injuries because you haven't gotten these guys up to par for his speed.
Nate Newton, 3-time Super Bowl champ, joining us here on the Blitz. And you say that, if I remember correctly, back in when you were playing for Jimmy, March, April, you guys were in the weight room doing stuff together as a team,
right,
and not on the football field. Now guys are off on their own.
Yes.
And it's from everything I hear, you played. You tell us, even you can work hard, but if you're not working around with a bunch of NFL types, are you really getting the right work in?
It depends on the player. This is what is. What makes Kansas City different than Dallas? What makes Philadelphia different than Detroit? What makes Detroit different? It still comes down to players.
Yeah.
And it comes down to players with attitudes and with dedication to their craft. Because everybody's on the same page. Now you have to, as a scouting person, as a player personnel director, you have to dig deep. You have to go to the trainer. You have to go to the equipment man. You have to go into the neighborhood and say, what type of guy is this guy? And you have to dig deep. And and then when you're looking at film, what type of attitude does it portray? After a bad play, what's his body language? After a good play, you have to really be into it because it still come down to can you get the right player? Can you get a guy that loves the game and loves to compete?
That's interesting that you say that because I don't know George Pickens, just know what
Yeah.
I've seen. But he had that reputation that he was a little bit difficult.
Right.
Cowboys went out and got him anyway, and he seems to be completely changed and loves it here. Can that happen from one situation to another?
Sometimes, the changing of the colors, or changing of a home, or changing of attitude. But what Mr. Pickens has to understand is you left I think a proud organization in the Steelers, an organization that prides itself on taking care of its player, putting the player first, and you left that situation. You come here where you're in the spotlight now. I mean, the Steelers carry their own iconic brand, but now you're dealing with a top 3 iconic brand. What you do here and what you say and how you act gets put out there. Before you got here, we knew your history. And most of our media types knew your history. Now we don't, as media, we kind of careful on how we trickle this to the fans, but the fans say, ain't he's a difficult guy? So it's up to him to come in and be the right type of guy. Well, I'm playing for a contract. Sir, you playing for more than a contract. You playing for the rest of your career, because if you can't make it here with the Cowboys, tell me where can you go and make it? So this kid has to grow up and has to be something special. We know you have the talent. We seen that right there in Pittsburgh. Why would Pittsburgh want to let you go unless it was something behind that?
Well, that's
Makes
it. If Mike
sense, yeah.
Tomlin can't make you work,
Yes, sir.
I mean, and that's but he knows it's a contract year.
Yeah.
And maybe, like you said, I got fired from a job. Let me
Yeah.
see if that's the
Yeah.
wake-up call. It's
Yes.
like Luka in
Yeah.
shape all of a sudden up there
Yeah.
with the Lakers after he got traded from Dallas.
I tell people, when you're young, like Luca and like this Pickens kid, you don't see it. I mean, when you come out of college and you come out of it's Luca, the league that he was playing with grown men. He's always been around grown men, so he adopted a lot of grown men ways, but he didn't take the drinking, the having fun. He adopted the grown, but see, he forgot the grown men were working out. You know what I'm saying? Your family, your dad played basketball, so he should have been expressing to you, hey, son, this is what comes with this with responsibility. So when I tell people about Luca and even the kid with New Orleans,
Zion.
yeah, you have to at some point grow up. You was, brother, you've been with me since when I got into the league.
Yeah.
I was a fat, out of shape guy, just running around having fun. And Charles Haley came in and said, "Hey, man, you need to grow up. Luka needs to be challenged." And here, when he was in Dallas, no one was going to challenge him. And this is why I tell fans, you didn't expect nothing more. They were fortunate enough to get to a playoff, have success in the playoffs, and not know why you lost in the championship game. You lost because your star didn't have enough gas. You are so prideful and so ignorant as a fan that you didn't understand why you lost. If Luka would have been in shape, come on, my man. He's a top 5 player, being a fat guy. He's a top. Now you as a Dallas fan, and believe me, Nico or whatever his name, or whoever he is, I'm gonna be honest with you. He went to his ownership group. You think that this man had the power to put a plug on this kid? No, he did not.
Yeah.
No, he did not. But he told his ownership group, ma'am, because that's who run it.
Mhm.
She does.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you're gonna have to pay this kid upwards of $300 million in 4 or 5 year span. You're gonna have to pay this kid. And she said, what? And so she, like any other good owner does, give me the pros and cons. He gave the pros and he gave the cons, and she didn't like it. And the people under her didn't like it, because there's no way in the world, Nico. That's like this new coach we got saying, "Hey, man, we need to look twice on Dak." And I think I want to get rid of Dak. You know how many Joneses you got to go through to get to Dak? Come on, man. it's rare you ever hear me criticize the fans, but the first thing happened with Luka. As soon as the Lakers, see, this is the difference between the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. The Lakers, as soon as the season over with, their head coach didn't even care what nobody thought. Said, "Hey, somebody got to come back in shape. This ain't gonna work, because we lost when we should have been deep in the playoffs. They should have lost in the Western Conference Finals, not in the first round, and that is because once again, the star guy, it's not LeBron anymore. It is Luka.
Mm-hmm.
So the star guy, once again, got exposed. And the coach like, hold on, man. You got to do better. So this ain't about the Mavericks anymore. This is solely about Luka. I promise you, Luka has moved on. Dallas better move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
he looks great, though.
He does. I mean,
yeah.
he's in shape. I mean, now granted, 98% of the people listening right now on our station are Spurs fans, and Wemby, we don't have to worry about that. And, Dallas,
but y'all got a nice pick this year.
Yeah.
Dylan
Harper.
Let me tell you something. You have been player good, but not player great. Y'all have given away a lot of. One of them sitting with the Celtics.
Yes,
Derek White.
Yeah, I'm a Celtic man. So I'm like, what I try to tell people is this right here. The Spurs are not one of those teams where you look at it and say, this is a destination spot. So one thing I want to say about y'all fans, if they have been patient. But let me also say this right here. Wemby is not going to be patient.
No.
We've
been saying it.
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
we're ready. It's been 7 years since we've been in the playoffs.
Yeah, so
and we're spoiled.
Yeah,
we're spoiled.
And I like how the coach now is no longer the coach.
Popovich
said, "Hey Timmy, you need to do this. Hey Ginobili, you need to do this. Hey, his guard, you need
Tony
to do
Parker,
this."
yeah.
And they listened.
Yeah.
It was like German Shepherd with the ears going forward, hounds on the trail. You know what I'm saying? And Wemby looking at him like, "Yo, coach, I don't work that way." So you have to, and he changed, because he understands that the landscape has changed. And even though you give a guy a rookie max, 120 mil for 2 more years of your life, these kids, people chirping at them. Hey man, come play with me.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
It ain't like the NFL where you get tampering.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Players can recruit players. You know what I'm saying? Come play with me, man. And even though they got a little clause in there saying if we pay you max money, you can't show disfavor. Well, that don't apply to the agent. That don't apply to the player. So I'm saying to myself, it's time for Spurs management. And I know you got the first apron and the second, but it's time for y'all to kind of hype it up. And I don't know the player that's out there that can give y'all that next step to the playoffs. I know Wemby is a hell of a player, but who is that guy that's lingering out there? Is that guy on your team that can get y'all to the playoffs?
I think we still need some pieces. They've got a good young team. We've got De'Aaron Fox was a big trade last year.
Oh, that was a nice get. That was a nice get.
So,
but De'Aaron still needs coaching.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think he needs coaching. If this new coach can do it, I mean, hey, more power to you.
It's going to be interesting. Who knew we were going to talk basketball with the great
man.
Nate?
This is
But
fantastic.
because he's a sports guy.
That's
and
it.
We all know.
The thing where this started from is we talking about players being responsible.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You have to have some, like when I look at Tyler Guyton, he needs reps. And for the second year in a row, he needs training camp bad. And for the second year in a row, he's finna miss most or all of training camp. That is not a positive. It's a positive for Nate Thomas. It's a positive for Austin Richards. because they have a chance. Nate Thomas is the next guy. Austin Richards then is the backup to that guy. So, that's a positive there. But for a draft choice, to miss 2 years in a row of most of all of training camp, and they talking about he can be back within the first week. Well, what if Nate Thomas prospers? What if Austin Richards prospers? Is Mr. Jones going to give Coach Schottenheimer the power to say, hey, man, we're going to ride with this guy? That is when you find winning teams, they will draft players, but once they see who's the best player that can help the team win, that where you got drafted goes out the window, and the Cowboys have not been good at that. They have not been good at saying, hey, this is the better guy. Well, you got a Pete Carroll descendant in here who believes in that. He when you say I'm gonna be competitive, when I look in your eyes and say, hey, Sanders, come here. Hey, such and such. Hey, Sadiq Charles, sign here. I promise you're gonna give a chance. Rob Jones, before you hurt your neck. Hey, man, sign here. We're gonna give the best guy the job. Now, when that comes to a chance to do that, now your coach's reputation is on the line. Is the ownership going to give him the ability to say, hey, man, if you think this guy is the best guy, play him?
Will they do that, Nate?
Sir, that is the 94.1 San Antonio Sports Shot question of the year.
Now, it's one thing, because he did do that to Booker at training camp. Is it one thing to go from first team to second team in camp to kind of send a message, but would Schotty be able to do that on game day?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir. I tell people like this. One thing I tell people, I'm not dumb. You're not, you guys are not, our fans not. When you draft a guy, whether he's the 32nd pick or he's the top player of the draft, when you say this guy is a first round, what you're projecting is that this guy is going to be not a superstar, but a above average player for your team for a lot of years. And as quick as this guy can get reps and get to playing, he can start on his way of being an above average player. I'm talking about a B player for 5 to 10 years. And if you that guy, especially as an offensive lineman, if you're a B player in the NFL as an offensive lineman, you're something special. And so if you can be that guy for the next 5 or 10 years, you got to hurry up and see. You can't sit up and say, well, we're not going to get, unless you are Philadelphia, unless you are Detroit, or unless you are the Ravens, who got something special already in place, and you was just the next best available player, you may get a year to sit on the bench and learn. But if you're not, if you're the Cowboys, a 7 and whatever team, a middle of the road, you have to come in and show the coaches as quick as you can that you deserve the right to be out there.
That's fantastic. I love that. Now, you played for a coach that was that way.
Yes, Jimmy
right?
Johnson, yes.
I don't know if you've seen these, Nate, and I've seen the old videos of Troy Aikman. Mm-hmm. And this was after Jimmy left, and I think Barry Switzer was there.
Yes, sir.
And he was just chirping up and down the side and really frustrated.
Yeah, because we wasn't as disciplined.
Gotcha.
We got older. We wasn't as good. We weren't as disciplined. That's what Troy saw. We became more of a player-led team, and even though we had talent, it was old talent, and that needed to be replenished. But we tried to hold on a little too long, and it frustrated Troy because Troy felt he had a lot more to give to this team. So I understand Troy's impatient with the situation. I now that I've matured and understand it, and believe me, that's what I tell people. People will be like, well, Luka's showing them. No, let's hope that this in shape thing becomes a normal thing with him. And now we saying, oh, Luka's maturing. Not, oh, he's trying to show the Mavericks. Maverick fans, get over yourself. You're not that important. I'm just in the large scheme of things. You're not that. I tell my wife, I love you, baby, but not that much.
Hey, you mentioned earlier with all the injuries
that's
on the
great.
offensive line, are there guys available to go get? Will McClay is looking. Now, you started. You were a
Look at it.
USFL guy that made it, right?
Stop. We got Shadiq Charles. We got Nate Thomas. We got Brock Hoffman. Rob is out for a minute. We got a few veteran guys here, and we that have played and played well. The issue that we have, sir, listen to me now. Give me your name again, sir.
Jason.
And give me your last name.
Minix.
Okay, y'all. I'm talking to Jason, and I'm talking to
Joe.
Joe. Look here. The problem with the Dallas Cowboys is our division is the NFC East, and it is swarmed and overloaded with defensive linemen. Even the Giants, the only strength they have is their defensive line. The Washington team, their defensive line is nice. The Philadelphia Eagles team ruined and made Andy Reid go out and draft another offensive lineman. So that is our problem. So we couldn't put a bunch of just anybody's out there. These guys, and they went out and got Coach Connor, who's a well-known offensive line coach, and this is how we got to live. These guys are not average guys. We went out and got veteran guys because we saw in the NFC Championship game, it was us, the East, that was in this NFC Championship game, not nobody else, bro. So we had to address that, and we did. We addressed it with veteran players, And so if there's anybody out there now, they just like, it's like it's the bottom of your coffee pot. They dregs. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Nate
awesome.
Newton, three-time Super Bowl champion. The most important question of the day for you, Nate.
Okay.
It's National Wing Day.
Yes, sir.
You like drums or flats?
I like flats the best, like most people. But if you ain't got them, I'll take the drums. Yeah.
All right. Well, the other question was breaded or naked?
Breaded, man. And I like mine kind of fried. I ain't a baked type guy.
All right.
If you kind of fry mine and they're a little bit crunchy, man, I can dip them off into that ranch, man. Oh man, boy, I hit with that ranch, man, and boy, I can just when I go in there and I can tell if it's right because it'll come out just a bone.
Yep. Yeah, you got that talent to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You say like most people on our poll right now, drums are winning 67%. Most people, according to our listeners, they like drums.
Yeah, the thing is that flat thing is, because it's that two bones that connect, and you can kind of get your teeth in there. And so people like that little bit of work they have to do. But I'm gonna tell you, drums have more meat. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, like you asked a woman, you're a breast or a thigh man, If you know how the breast look, I'm going to go with the thigh, baby.
I love it. Nate, this was a blast, man. Thank you for taking some time with us.
Hey, thank y'all for having me, man. And God bless y'all, man. I'm glad that y'all are prospering.
Thank you. God bless you.
Good seeing you, man. The great Nate Newton here on the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.